My boss fired me when I asked for maternity leave, saying pregnant women are bad for business. I didn't sue. I just started a competing company that now employs 80% of his former clients and has twice the revenue. The day I told Marcus I was pregnant still plays in my head like a bad movie. His face went from friendly to cold faster than my morning sickness could hit. 12 weeks? He repeated, his Mont Blanc pen tapping against his restoration hardware desk. That's problematic. I'd prepared a whole presentation, my team's workflow during my absence, client transition plans, even a calendar color-coded for deliverables. All for nothing. Look, he said, leaning back in his Herman Miller chair that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I'll be straight with you. Pregnant women are bad for business. Clients don't take them seriously. They see a baby bump and think distracted, emotional, unreliable. He actually used air quotes. The timing is unfortunate. I sat there, stunned, one hand instinctively moving to my still flat stomach. 6 years I'd given to precision media. 6 years of 70-hour weeks, missed family holidays, and clients who requested me specifically. And just like that, I was a liability. The next morning, HR called me into a conference room. Marcus wasn't even there, just Jen from HR with a manila folder and a face that screamed, I hate this but need my paycheck. They were restructuring the creative department. My position was being eliminated. My severance package was generous. And the timing was unfortunate but coincidental. What they didn't expect was that I didn't cry. I didn't threaten to sue. I just nodded, signed their papers, collected my sad little box of desk plants and family photos, and walked out. 3 days later, my biggest client, Westridge Hotels, called me directly. We heard what happened. We want to stay with you, not Precision. What's your next move? That question changed everything. Updated. Wow, thank you all for the overwhelming response. Never expected this to blow up like it has. To answer the most common question, yes, I'm doing great now, both business-wise and baby-wise. Still deciding whether to reveal my identity or keep Marcus guessing. Would you stay anonymous if you were in my shoes? 6 years at Precision had taught me everything, including what not to do. I started as an account coordinator fresh out of college, making coffee runs and formatting PowerPoint decks until 2 a.m. Back then, Precision was the hot new agency everyone wanted to work for. Marcus had just landed the Westridge Hotels account, and the office buzzed with energy and potential. The walls were covered with awards, and the kitchen was stocked with Red Bull and fancy snacks from Whole Foods. It felt like being part of something special. I climbed the ladder fast. Account manager by year 2, associate creative director by year 4, and finally, at 32, the youngest creative director in company history. My campaigns for Westridge Hotels increased their bookings by 47% in just 9 months. The Novatech rebrand I led won us 3 industry awards. Clients started requesting me specifically, which was both flattering and exhausting. You're the secret weapon, Marcus would say at company happy hours, his arm around my shoulders just a little too long. The warning signs were there. I just ignored them. Like when Diane from accounting got engaged and Marcus joked in the all-hands meeting about losing another one to the marriage trap. Or when Caitlin from the media team came back from maternity leave and suddenly found herself assigned to our smallest, least important accounts. She quit 3 months later. Or the time Marcus passed over Angela for promotion because, as he told me privately over drinks, she just had a kid. Her head won't be in the game for years. I was different, I thought. I was essential, irreplaceable. The night before I told Marcus about my pregnancy, my husband James and I sat at our kitchen table planning. James, always the pragmatic engineer, had spreadsheets, our savings, healthcare costs, childcare options. Maybe this is your chance, he said, opening another tab labeled Freelance Possibilities. He'd been suggesting I go independent for years, seeing how Precision drained me. I always had excuses, the security, the team I'd built, the prestige of the agency. But secretly, I'd been dreaming about it too. Let's see how tomorrow goes, I said, closing his laptop. I already had my maternity leave presentation ready to go, confident in my value to the company. What happened next? The dismissive firing? The transparent discrimination thinly veiled as restructuring shouldn't have been a surprise, but it was. The shock wasn't just being fired. It was realizing I'd been loyal to a company that saw me as disposable the moment my life didn't align with their preferences. The severance check felt dirty, but I deposited it anyway. 4 months' salary would give me runway to figure out my next move. I had no idea that next move would come calling so soon. Calvin Chen, Westridge's VP of Marketing, didn't just offer sympathy when he called, he offered opportunity. Marcus is an idiot, he said bluntly. Your campaigns doubled our wedding venue bookings. We're not losing you over his prehistoric management style. Calvin wasn't alone. Within a week, 2 more clients reached out. Novatech and Brightline Coffee. Both had heard through industry gossip what had happened, and both wanted to know if I was available for direct contract work. The idea clicked into place so fast it felt like it had been waiting for me. Not freelancing, an agency, my agency, built from the ground up with everything Precision lacked: flexibility, respect for work-life balance, and actual human decency. I'd seen firsthand how many talented people in advertising, especially women, were sidelined after having children. What if there was a place that saw that as a strength, not a liability? And then there was the timing. A global shift toward remote work meant I could build something entirely different. No expensive downtown office, no mandatory 60-hour in-person weeks, just exceptional work from exceptional people, regardless of their parental status or location. I called Alyssa, the senior designer who'd quit Precision 6 months earlier after her maternity leave request was cut in half. Then Raj, the copywriter who left to care for his sick father and was never given away back in despite his talent. One by one, I reached out to the brilliant people Precision had discarded when their humanity became inconvenient. The response was immediate. It wasn't just former colleagues, it was a movement. 18 days after being fired, I incorporated Horizon Creative. 21 days after, we had our first 5 clients. And 7 weeks after Marcus told me pregnant women were bad for business, I signed a contract with Westridge Hotels worth twice what they'd been paying Precision. My team worked remotely from home offices, co-working spaces, and even, in Raj's case, his father's hospital room. We set up Slack channels and project management, systems that made our workflow transparent to clients. We implemented core hours for meetings, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and protected the rest of everyone's time. We made deadline extensions for life events standard, not exceptional. And we started winning. Client after client, project after project, the crowning moment came at the 4-month mark. I was showing by then, my pregnancy obvious to anyone who saw me. I had a pitch meeting with Lux Life Skincare, a dream client everyone in the industry wanted. They'd been with Precision for years. The meeting was virtual, and I didn't hide my pregnancy. In fact, I addressed it directly. You might be wondering if I can handle your account while preparing to have a baby, I said after our presentation. The answer is yes, because I've built a company designed for human beings, not productivity machines. You'll never lose quality or attention, but you'll gain a team that brings their full, authentic selves to your brand. I could see Marcus's fingerprints all over their current campaigns. Safe, predictable, boring. Our pitch was bold, data-driven, and unlike anything they'd done before. They signed with us 2 days later. When I forwarded the signed contract to our team's Slack channel, the reaction was immediate. Explosion emojis, virtual high fives, and Raj's favorite celebration gif, the one with the dancing baby that seemed particularly appropriate. And that's when it hit me. We weren't just surviving post-Precision. We were thriving because of what Precision lacked. Every policy I'd implemented out of necessity, flexible hours, remote work, parent-friendly schedules, was actually making us more creative, more efficient, and more attractive to clients who were tired of the old agency model. Meanwhile, through industry contacts, I heard Precision was struggling. Marcus had hired my replacement, a man in his 40s with half my experience but twice my confidence. Clients were asking questions. Account managers were jumping ship. Their newest campaigns looked tired, derivative. The baby grew, and so did Horizon. By month 5, we'd outgrown our initial project management system and had to upgrade. By month 6, we hired 3 more people, including a brilliant art director who'd left the industry after having twins because no agency would give her the flexibility she needed. By month 7, we moved from my home office to a flexible co-working arrangement. Still no long-term lease, still no unnecessary overhead. And then, at 36 weeks pregnant, physically uncomfortable but professionally exhilarated, I got the email that changed everything again. Updated holy guacamole, 5K upvotes? Y'all are amazing. FYI, I've had several Marcus types slide into my DMs claiming I'm exaggerating. Cute. To clarify, yes, everything happened exactly as described, and yes, Marcus's company folded completely. The industry can be brutal when you're on the wrong side of change. Has anyone else built something better after being underestimated? The email was from Diane in accounting, my old colleague from Precision. The subject line read simply, "You should know this. Precision is in trouble," she wrote. Marcus lost Brightline Coffee last week, and rumor is Novatech is reviewing their contract. 4 more people quit yesterday. The Westridge loss hit hard, but losing Lux Life was the final blow. Marcus is telling everyone it's market conditions, but we all know it's him. I forwarded the email to James with a single question mark. His response came back instantly. Karma works faster than I expected. But it wasn't just karma. It was the inevitable result of a business model built on exploitation rather than support. Marcus had created a company that looked impressive from the outside but was rotting from within. All I'd done was offer an alternative, not just to clients, but to the talented people he'd taken for granted. 2 days later, I went into labor, 3 weeks early but perfectly healthy. Eva Rose came into the world at 6:43 p.m. on a Tuesday, 7 pounds, 2 ounces of screaming determination. Looking at her tiny face, I felt a surge of gratitude for Marcus's terrible decision. Without it, I might still be working 70-hour weeks at Precision instead of building something worthy of my daughter's future. I took 8 weeks off, completely off. No emails, no Slack, no client calls. Horizon didn't just survive without me, it thrived. The systems we'd put in place, the culture of mutual support and clear communication, meant nobody had to be irreplaceable. When I did check in, just to satisfy my curiosity, I found projects progressing smoothly and 2 new client inquiries in process. Meanwhile, the industry newsletter reported that Precision had laid off 30% of its staff due to challenging market conditions. Marcus gave an interview claiming the agency was pivoting to a more agile model, corporate speak for "we're desperate." I returned to work gradually, starting with 3 hours a day from my home office while a postpartum doula helped with Eva. By week 10, I was back to full capacity, though my version of full capacity now looked very different. I blocked time for breastfeeding and baby cuddles. I took walks in the middle of the day with Eva strapped to my chest. I was present for both my daughter and my company, refusing to sacrifice either. When Eva was 4 months old, we signed our biggest client yet, Global Green Energy, a renewable energy company expanding into consumer markets. They'd been with one of the big legacy agencies for years, but wanted something different for their new division. "We love that you're building something innovative from the ground up, just like us," their CMO said during our kickoff call, as I bounced Eva on my knee, just off camera. "And frankly, your team's pitch showed more creativity and strategic thinking than we've seen in years." The Global Green account pushed Horizon into a new league. We hired 5 more people, all remote, all with the same core values. 3 were working parents who'd been sidelined at traditional agencies. 1 was a creative genius who lived in a rural area and had been overlooked because of his location. Together, they brought perspectives that never would have found their way into a traditional agency setting. By the time Eva turned 1, Horizon had 28 employees, all remote, all with flexible schedules, and all producing the best work of their careers. Our revenue was double what my division at Precision had generated. And we'd just been shortlisted for an industry award for our Global Green campaign. The final blow to Precision came a week after Eva's first birthday. An all-staff email from Marcus was leaked to the industry newsletter. Precision Media was shutting down operations, effective immediately. The remaining clients would be transferred to a competing agency. The office lease had been terminated. The end. I read the news sitting in my home office, Eva playing with wooden blocks at my feet. I felt no joy at Marcus's failure, just a calm sense of vindication. The old model was dying. The future belonged to companies that valued people as whole human beings, not just productivity machines. That afternoon, I received another email, this one from Marcus himself. "I think you know by now that Precision is closing," he wrote. "I won't insult you by asking for your help or sympathy. But I will say this, you proved me wrong. Completely, thoroughly wrong. Your success makes that undeniable." I stared at the message for a long time, Eva babbling happily beside me. There was no apology, not explicitly, but between the lines, I could read the admission. He had made a catastrophic error in judgment about me, about business, about the future of work itself. I started typing a response several times but deleted each draft. What was there to say? His failure and my success spoke for themselves. Instead, I closed my laptop and picked up my daughter, who greeted me with a toothy grin. "Want to help Mommy draft a new parental leave policy?" I asked her, kissing her chubby cheek. "I'm thinking 16 weeks, fully paid, for all new parents, birth, adoption, whatever family looks like to them." She responded by grabbing my nose and giggling. The next day, I announced Horizon's new parental leave policy to the team. The response was immediate and emotional, especially from those who had experienced the opposite treatment at previous employers. We also implemented backup childcare benefits, flexible schedules for school events, and a stipend for home office equipment. Industry publications picked up the story. Other agencies were forced to respond, some improving their own policies to compete for talent. Clients started asking about our approach in pitch meetings, curious about the agency that was redefining workplace culture while delivering exceptional creative work. 2 years after being fired for getting pregnant, Horizon Creative employs 43 people across 9 time zones. We've won 11 industry awards. We handle accounts worth millions. And over 80% of our clients came directly or indirectly from Precision's client roster, not because we poached them, but because we offered something better. As for Marcus, I heard he's consulting now, helping traditional agencies navigate the changing landscape. The irony isn't lost on me. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if he'd simply approved my maternity leave request that day. Would I still be at Precision, making him money while compromising my vision for both work and motherhood? The thought sends a chill through me. Eva is 2 now, stubborn and brilliant and constantly in motion. She has a little desk in my office, where she works while I take calls. Mostly this involves crayons and a lot of concentration. Sometimes during client meetings, I'll catch a glimpse of her focused on her projects and feel a surge of pride so intense it nearly overwhelms me. This is what Marcus never understood. Becoming a mother didn't diminish my professional capacity. It enhanced it. Every day I show my daughter what's possible when you refuse to accept other people's limitations. Every day I build a company that proves businesses succeed by supporting human beings, not exploiting them. Last week, I got another email from a former Precision employee. She's pregnant with her 2nd child and interested in our open content strategy position. I've been following Horizon's journey, she wrote. It gives me hope. That's when I realized what we've really built goes far beyond clients and campaigns. We've created proof that another way is possible for working parents, for creative professionals, for businesses brave enough to challenge broken systems. And it all started with one man foolishly believing that pregnant women are bad for business. Updated. This is probably my last update. Things are pretty wild. My story was featured in Fast Company, and we've received 300+ job applications since posting. As for Marcus, word is he's interviewing at Horizon's biggest competitor. The universe has a sense of humor. Quick question. If your former boss applied to your company after firing you, would you consider interviewing them?